I could not have written Ready Player One if I had not grown up on a steady diet of Steven Spielberg movies. It would have been a different story, or I might not have written it at all. His work is woven into the fabric of my life. Everybody, I think, who dreams of making movies dreams of getting to work with him. It's a dream come true.
Like sands through the hourglass, so are the days of our lives.
Get dressed. Carol!
759 Sector C.
Carol! We gotta go! We gotta get out of here! We gotta go right now!
Listen to me, Steve.
No, you don't understand! We've gotta go!
Go where?
No, we gotta go! What the hell are you talking about?
Steve, this is important. Go where? That's right. Go where? What happened in your room? Are you listening? What happened in your room is not an isolated incident. It is something that is happening everywhere to everyone. So, where are you gonna go? Where are you gonna run? Where are you gonna hide? Nowhere. Because there's no one like you left.
We're getting a new Air Force One if they can ever finish the damn thing.
Damn. To condemn to hell. To condemn, to declare guilty, to doom, to adjudge, to punishment, to sentence, to censure.
We're getting a new Air Force One if they can ever finish the damn thing. We're getting two of them, actually. But we may have to go a different route because it's taken them a long time. We're going to get military that's going to start building. We're going to get people to start building properly again in our country because they don't build properly. This was Boeing.
US President Donald Trump toured a 13-year-old Boeing 747-8 on February 15, 2025. As the newly re-elected president, he is pushing to replace the current pair of VC-25As with newer models ahead of their extensively delayed delivery schedule. With Boeing's current projections, Trump would not get to fly on board the jet as president, as the VC-25Bs are due after the end of his term. The airplane Trump visited at the Royal Beach International Airport is a 13-year-old airframe formerly owned by Qatar's royal family. Commenting on the president's recent tour, White House Communications Director Stephen Chung said, "President Trump is touring a new Boeing plane to check out the new hardware/technology. This highlights the project's failure to deliver a new Air Force One on time as promised." Media reports indicate that the president toured the 747 to draw attention to the ongoing delays in Air Force One deliveries. During his first presidential term from 2017 to 2021, Trump negotiated with Boeing to get a better price on the replacement presidential jumbo jets.
Tahiti Control, FedEx 88, broadcasting in the flies. How do you read? Tahiti Control, FedEx 88, broadcasting in a
Buckle up, Chuck.
Die neue 1188 Null kennt die Nummern jetzt auf Flugpläne.
28 days, 6 hours, 42 minutes, 12 seconds.
The Vatican says Pope Francis has developed pneumonia in both of his lungs. The Catholic Church said tests also revealed he has asthmatic bronchitis. The respiratory infection requires the use of an antibiotic treatment. A spokesperson for the Vatican says the 88-year-old is in good spirits. He was admitted to hospital on Friday. All of his public events have been canceled through Sunday. To unpack the complexity of the Pope's health situation, let's bring in Dr. Indira Mahal. Dr. Mahal is a family physician and a health journalist, so we are literally and figuratively very far away from the Pope here, so we get little bits and pieces of information from the Vatican. Based on those bits and pieces of information, what can you tell us about what appears to be his health situation?
Yeah, so Pope Francis, of course, is 88 years old. He's had a history of partial removal of a previous lung. We call that a partial lobectomy. So for someone of Pope Francis's age, previous medical issues, he is more predisposed to developing pneumonias, bronchitis, and complications from those.
Former Defense Secretary Donald Rumsfeld has died today at his home in New Mexico. As a congressman for Illinois in the 1960s, Rumsfeld helped pass the Freedom of Information Act. He was NATO ambassador for Richard Nixon before becoming Gerald Ford's chief of staff. Rumsfeld then led the Pentagon under Ford, followed by 2 decades in the private sector. He was called back to public life in 2001 by President George W. Bush for a second term as defense secretary. Rumsfeld led the United States invasion of Afghanistan and Iraq after September 11th. He faced criticism during his 5-year tenure for falsely claiming Iraq had weapons of mass destruction and for the Abu Ghraib prisoner abuse and torture scandal. Rumsfeld's family said he was surrounded by loved ones upon his death. He was 88 years old.
Like an airplane. Well, when? Are we back?
Finally tonight here, from MASH to ordinary people to the Hunger Games. Donald Sutherland could do it all. And tonight, his son honoring him. Tonight, paying tribute to Donald Sutherland, the prolific actor whose role spanned more than half a century, nearly 200 films and TV roles.
I don't even know what you do.
I'm a writer.
His breakout role in 1967 as the Army misfit in The Dirty Dozen.
Which one of you guys wants to be a general?
What kind of a general, sir?
Just a plain, ordinary, everyday, home-loving American general.
I'd rather be a civilian, sir.
In an open letter, 88 retired military generals and admirals pledged their support for Donald Trump. The letter accused the Obama administration of damaging the military through budget cuts, policy choices, and combat operations. It reads in part, "We support Donald Trump and his commitment to rebuild our military, to secure our borders, to defeat our Islamic supremacist adversaries, and restore law and order domestically."
Oh, how amazed were you to see your roadster up there with Starman just cruising along with the Blue Planet? And how long will we be getting live views, do you think, from the car?
Well, I think it looks so ridiculous and impossible. And you can tell it's real because it looks so fake, honestly.
President Vladimir Putin won a record post-Soviet landslide victory in Russia's election on Sunday. This unity will allow us to act effectively on the front line. In the economy, humanitarian development, achieving the goals of social development projects, he said. Although the win came with signs of dissent and criticism from the U.S. that it was neither free nor fair.
Putin Vladimir Vladimirovich.
The chair of the Central Election Commission in Moscow said Putin won a record 88% of the vote. With a new 6-year term cementing his grip on power, the former KGB officer is set to overtake Soviet dictator Joseph Stalin as Russia's longest-serving leader in more than 200 years.
Degrees, 50 yards from impact.
officially running for President of the United States.
And the American man here was incredibly fast.
I am officially running.
And the American man here was incredibly fast.
The irreverent battlefield surgeon in 1970s MASH.
I think you will find these accommodating. They're quite dry. Don't you use olives? We do have to make certain concessions to the war. We're 3 miles from the front line.
Opposite Jane Fonda in Clute. Mary Tyler Moore in Ordinary People.
Can't you see anything except in terms of how it affects you?
Susan Sarandon in A Dry White Season.
To you, this is just another story. One more murder isn't news. But let me tell you something. It's news to me.
And Jennifer Lawrence in The Hunger Games.
I've been watching you. And you watching me. I'm afraid we've both been played for fools.
If I go down, you have to stay the course. Do you understand?
Mr. President, I'm sure it won't come to that.
Charles, you're the vice president. The nation will be relying on you. If the worst happens, think of me as a casualty of war. Don't waste time. Just pick up the torch and move forward.
Yes, sir, Mr. President.
Mr. President, we think CTU is in communication with the pilot of the stolen aircraft. Patch it through.
Sir, I've just been notified by the FBI that they've contacted your sister, Alicia. They've advised her of what's happening. She's scared. She wants to talk to you. All you have to do, Captain Anderson, is respond to me, and I'll put her right through. Captain Anderson. Captain Anderson, Chloe, I think we've been cut off. Is there an override channel?
He's cut off all communication circuits. I don't think there's anything we can do.
Damn it!
I'm scared.
Oh my God.
Was Air Force One just hit? Was Air Force One just hit?
Escort pilots report. Air Force One has suffered an indirect hit by an air-to-air missile. Pieces are falling to the ground over the desert.
All right, let's back up and go through it once more, step by step. You all thought you saw a body at the baths. You thought it was dead. You didn't know what it was. You touched it. All of you touched it. Nancy, you saw it open its eyes.
It looked right at me.
And Belichick, you saw its eyes open.
No, I saw its nose bleed.
Well, if you saw its nose bleed, And Nancy saw his eyes open. He must have been alive.
No, David, what you're doing wrong, you're looking at it as if it was human. It was not human.
Matthew, what else would it be?
It was something, but it was not human.
It had white hair on it.
It was growing. When the one at Jack's place was like Jack, but it wasn't as developed as the one at Elizabeth's place.
It had tendrils on it.
The one at Elizabeth's place was duplicating her.
And if Matthew hadn't taken me out of there, the same thing that's happened to Jeffrey would have happened to me.
Elizabeth, would you please tell me, in your opinion, exactly what is happening?
People are being duplicated. And once it's happened to you, you're part of this thing. It almost happened to me.
Look, the reason that you don't believe Elizabeth is because the other body disappeared. Now it disappeared because Jeffrey took it.
Yeah, well then what happened to my other body then?
Oh, people, will you please listen to yourselves? Will you please listen to what you're saying? Look, I can deal with a body being moved. I can even deal with a body getting up and leaving. But when you start talking about his other body, her other body, people being duplicated, will you listen to how that sounds?
And then it was such a hit. It was way bigger than I even anticipated. And now, I think we're gonna make part 2. I think you have to. I think you have to. They kill you if you try to walk away. And they clone you.
Don't you think we know how insane this sounds? But what do you think we're doing? You think we're making it up?
What are you having trouble accepting? Do you believe that my body looked like me? Do you believe that her body looked like her?
You think we've all gone crazy?
You are trying to make us believe that we are seeing things. Why are you trying to do that?
All I'm trying to do is help. You called me in the middle of the night. You asked me to come here and help. That's all I'm trying to do.
Well, I'm sorry. If we woke you up in the middle of the night, that's, if we inconvenience you, I guess we owe you an apology. I guess that's a rotten thing to do. You've upset my wife, too.
Robotic human surrogates combine the durability of a machine with the grace and beauty of the human body. With most people living their lives through their surrogate selves, our world has become a safer place.
I think we may actually have a homicide here. First one in 15 years. The public cannot be allowed to get the idea that using a surrogate can be fatal. Especially if it's true.
Surreys have been blown to bits without the least bit of harm to their operators.
If it were possible, it would defeat the entire purpose of surrogacy.
You're lucky to be alive. Good thing you're unplugged.
How long is it since you've been out without a surrogate?
Can't even remember.
Maggie, get offline. I think something's gonna happen.
What happens now? Now it's up to you.
Born in 1935, he knew early on he wanted to be an actor.
It defies logic. Who knows? I don't know. When I was 16 years old, I'd never seen a play. I said to my dad that I wanted to be an actor.
His son Kiefer would go on to act as well, together in Forsaken.
God is not responsible for the life you choose. I did not choose it!
The advice he gave his son.
The only thing I ever said was that if you can be as honest as you possibly can be and pursue that, then you'll be real happy.
His son Kiefer sang tonight, "With a heavy heart, I tell you that my father, Donald Sutherland, has passed away. I personally think one of the most important actors in the history of film. Never daunted by a role, good, bad, or ugly. He loved what he did, and he did what he loved. A life well lived." Tonight, Michael Douglas writing, "What a lovely, talented, and curious man." Henry Winkler telling Kiefer Sutherland, "Your dad was indeed singular." Nancy Sinatra was simply, "This hurts, Godspeed." And tonight here, Donald Sutherland in his own words on acting and the fame that comes with it.
Somebody says, "Hey, Donald," it's terrific. It's lovely. It's that exchange is wonderful. Everybody pays a lot of money so that I have a wonderful life, and it's truly a great life, and I enjoy the exchange.
Celebrating Donald Sutherland tonight.
The delivery of the new Air Force One planes was initially scheduled for 2024. However, that was later pushed back to 2026 for the first and 2027 for the second aircraft. Now, according to media reports, it has been delayed even further to 2029 or later. The delivery delays have been attributed to supply chain issues, high costs, and the intricate design of the planes, which are meant to serve as an airborne White House. The pandemic was a significant source of many of these issues. In January 2025, billionaire Elon Musk, a close ally of Trump, visited Boeing to assess the long overdue refurbishment of the Air Force One aircraft. During an interview with CNBC about the final quarter of Boeing's financial performance, Boeing CEO Kelly Ortberg revealed that the company had discussions with Musk, exploring ways to accelerate the jet's delivery. Ortberg added, "The president wants the airplane sooner, and so we're working with Elon and the team to figure out what we can do to pull up the schedule of that aircraft."
A future that Ernest Cline, the writer of the book, envisioned. I was very careful with Ernie collaborating with me every step of the way to be able to find the movie narrative inside this dense forest of Ernie's profound imagination.
The Oasis being the ultimate toy box with all the toys in the world, and then playing that with one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. It results in just amazing action and such a fun adventure.
Ernest Cline is such a visionary, and I think has seen the future before any of us possibly could even imagine it.